If you were to tell me that the last week would look like this, I wouldn't believe you.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to what I'm calling Coffee with Carly. A lot of you guys have told me over on Instagram that your favorite thing to watch is just story time. So that's what today's video is going to be. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more. I already feel like I'm celebrating a win for the day because I'm having coffee at home and I did not go to Starbucks. Absolutely obsessed with the Starbucks brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso drink. It is my all-time favorite drink I think I've had from Starbucks. I've been on a mission to recreate it at home. I just brew a Starbucks blonde roast espresso pod, and then I add in this brown sugar oat milk creamer. I usually drink it over ice because honestly, trying to drink hot coffee with children is just a mistake. The minute I start brewing that coffee, one of the kids wakes up. My kids are like, "What? Mom's doing something that doesn't involve me? Oh no." So like the title of this video says, this story, it's not a story, it's real life, about my son's severe peanut allergy, which we just found out about. I feel very stupid because the day that this happened, I went to Target with the sole purpose of getting those Bomba peanut puffs because I was like, gotta be a good mom, gotta expose my kids to allergens, you know, in advance. Teddy's almost 8 months old, he's starting food, now's the time. I literally got like the massive value size thinking this is gonna be great. Kennedy, my daughter, loved those puffs. Can't wait to try it with Teddy. Let's go, today's the day. A little backstory on that day. Teddy didn't nap for like 5 hours, and Teddy's wake windows are about 2 to 3 hours right now. He doesn't normally skip naps, so he was very unlike himself and very fussy. So when we got to my mom's house, I gave him a puff. I'll put a video of this right now. And I was so happy because he was loving it. Like, this is one of the very first foods that I've given him that he's actually visibly enjoyed and been interested in. He started to scratch his drool rash and started to make his face bleed. And my mom was like, he's really crabby, like he's really upset. And I was like, yeah, he hasn't slept in 5 hours. He's very tired. Like, I need to get him home. We need to start bedtime early because he's super tired. And then my mom was like, no, like his eyes look really bad. Like something doesn't look right. And by the time I got back to my house, which I live very close to my family, I'm like walkable to them. So by the time I walked Teddy back to our house, his lips had swollen up to like 4 times their original size. It was very clear at that point he was having an allergic reaction, and it was not just him being tired. Like, his lips were huge. His bottom lip almost looked translucent. They were swollen so much. I decided to call my pediatrician's emergency line because they were closed, because me being the smart person that I am, decided to expose him to an allergen after office hours had ended. Don't make my mistake. If you're gonna do this, give them a peanut puff at like 10 in the morning. Not at 6 o'clock at night. So I was calling my pediatrician's emergency line, which the way that that works is you call, you leave a voicemail, and then the on-call doctor will call you back. The voicemail was completely full. It just kept saying, this voicemail box is full, goodbye, and hanging up on me. And I was like, so I'm like, what do I do? Do we go to urgent care? Do we go to the hospital? And then my husband said, I think he's starting to wheeze. Like, I think his breathing sounds a little bit funny. We have to go to the ER right now. So thankfully, because we live so close to my parents' house, my parents could take Kennedy for us, because with everything going on with COVID, you can't have, you know, multiple family members inside the hospital. When I tell you we raced to the ER, wow. You know, those few minutes when we're going to the ER, I had all the thoughts in my head like, I'm such an idiot. I literally went to Target to get this thing that caused this problem. I'm so stupid. And then, you know, terror and fear because his lips just continued to swell. They were so much larger. And I was just worried about his breathing, hoping that his throat wasn't closing when we were driving. By this point, his eyes were huge. His skin was like losing color. And on top of it, he was super overtired. He had been up for 6+ hours. He's only 8 months old. He desperately needed to go to sleep, but I knew that wasn't going to happen anytime soon. You know, we were just praying that everything was going to be okay and that we'd make it to the hospital in time. I ran out with Teddy still in the car seat, ran into the emergency room, and I, you know, tried to flag down the first person I could see who worked there because there was a line of people in the ER. And when someone looked my way, I remember I was like crying. I was like, he's having an allergic reaction to peanuts. And right away, they like brought us back. They administered an epinephrine shot. I had to hold him down when they gave him the shot. Oh my God, that was heartbreaking. I couldn't look. I was holding him in place and I just turned my head to the side because I couldn't see the needle go into him. Hooked him up to a ton of wires to monitor his heart, his breathing, and then they gave him steroids too to help with the reaction. So from there, we were just waiting in the hospital for a few hours to monitor him, to make sure that the allergic reaction was coming down, to make sure that he wasn't having any side effects from the medication. I was just trying to nurse him and help him sleep, but it was super difficult, like with all the wires and everything. After about 3-ish hours, his reaction was coming down. He was doing well. He was stable. Now we get to the part of the story that I would like to title, I hate Walgreens, because Walgreens is the worst. The hospital told us, you know, your son might have a continued reaction. So in the middle of the night, you know, it might come back, or over the next few days, his reaction might continue. If that is the case, you need to give him an EpiPen immediately and call 911. They called the Walgreens that they were calling it into, and they said they need an EpiPen, they need these steroids, they need them tonight, how late are you open? They told us that they were open till 11 o'clock to come in. Well, we get there, and after waiting for a while, Walgreens is like, no, we don't have any EpiPens. Nope. And we're like, what do you mean you don't have any? We were literally in the room with the hospital when they called you and said that we needed to have this, and you said to come. And they're like, no, sorry, no EpiPens here. And I'm just very confused because I feel like that's something that a pharmacy should have. Like, it's a literal life or death medication. What do you mean you just don't have any? Why didn't you say that on the phone to the hospital? Like, hey, send them somewhere else because we don't have this. And the only Walgreens that might have it that was still open was an hour away. And it's 11 o'clock at night. We tried to call them for like 20 minutes and no one was answering the phone. So we're like, are they actually there? Is the pharmacy even open? So we were kind of freaking out, being like, so I guess tonight, if anything happens, we just have to call an ambulance and hope for the best. Like, I don't feel good about this. So thankfully, Teddy did not have another reaction during the night. So then first thing in the morning, Walgreens calls us and they're like, ooh, you know that EpiPen you wanted? Well, it's not covered by your insurance and it's gonna cost you like $5,000. And I was like, what? And Walgreens was like, oh, if you want the generic version, that's fine, but I'm gonna have to call your doctor to get authorization for that, and I'm not gonna call her till after 3 o'clock. And I was like, it's the same medicine. Like, it's literally the same thing. That's what I have a prescription for. Can you just fill it? They were like, no, I will get a hold of her maybe after 3 and then we can talk about maybe filling it. And I just feel like this is a life or death medication. I have a prescription for it. The hospital literally told you that we needed to have this and we're playing games. Oh, so frustrated. Basically, I want a t-shirt that says Walgreens is the worst because I'm beginning to think they're paid to be annoying at this point. Long story short, we did end up getting the other version of the EpiPen. I think it was around 4:30 or 5. They called me to tell me it was ready. And thank the Lord that Teddy did not have another reaction during the day. No thanks to Walgreens. The hospital gave us, you know, like a packet of information, and it said diagnosis, anaphylaxis, peanut allergy, and then it said get in to see an allergist to confirm allergy. I am trying to get into an allergist and it has been so difficult. I called to make Teddy an allergy appointment at the place that I took him to see a dermatologist for his eczema, because they actually referred me to an allergist during that process, saying if things happen, if he ends up having food allergies, here's who you should see. So I thought, great, I've already got a referral, I'll just call them and get in. Wrong. Called the doctor that I had already been referred to by someone in their system, and they said, actually, you're gonna need to get a hold of your dermatologist again to reissue that referral. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, it's written down, I have a referral to this allergist. And they were like, yeah, but we want another one. Can you just get a reissue? Thanks. So then I had to get a hold of the dermatologist to call the allergist to say, oh, remember that time I referred her to you? I'm doing it again. You know, like a day later, they call me back and they're like, sure, you can get in to see the allergist in a month and a half. I was like, do you have any available appointments any sooner? Any location? And they were like, no, but sometimes we have cancellations. I said, okay, can I get added to the wait list? She said, no, we don't keep a list of people for cancellations. My best advice is that you just call every single day and ask if there's been a cancellation and if you can get in. Every single day? I'm supposed to call every single day? How does it even work? Do I call first thing in the morning? Do I call in the afternoon? Like, how would I know when someone's about to cancel? Do I just call all day, every day, trying to get in? I'm not trying to get a reservation at a restaurant. I'm literally trying to figure out like life or death information for my child. And why is this so difficult? And then another place I called to try to get him in at took my name and my information and then just never called me back. So I called a day later and they were like annoyed at me for calling them. They were like, you called us again, we'll call you. And I'm just like, but you didn't call me. That place that was like getting annoyed at me for doing that actually called me back. And I was like, thank the Lord, they're calling me back. And the lady on the line said, did you call here looking to see allergy? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, I'm just calling to tell you that department closed at 4 p.m. so you can't talk to anyone. You're calling to tell me I can't talk to anyone? What? I'm beginning to feel like I'm taking crazy pills. All this just feels very stressful and scary because I don't feel like I have any information. All I know from the hospital and from our pediatrician was that he just is severely allergic to peanuts. He can't be around them. And it's just very scary because I just want to know the extent of his allergy. Is this an allergy where if grandma has had a peanut butter cookie 6 hours ago, if she picks him up, is he going to be back in the hospital? Do I need to be worried about taking my children to the park if some kid has touched a peanut and then touched the swing? Is that going to send him to the hospital? These are the things that I'm trying to figure out by seeing an allergist, because as of now, we just have to operate like his allergy is so severe and deadly that I just have to be prepared to go to the hospital at any minute. If you guys have followed me on Instagram, you know that I have opened up about having anxiety around my children ever since having Teddy and ever since a bad experience where someone in a Target parking lot tried to get me in their car with Kennedy. I have had extreme gripping anxiety thinking that someone is going to try and steal my children. I feel like I have added to that crippling anxiety feeling like any food or surface that might have had a food with a peanut on it is going to kill my child. So the anxiety at this moment just feels very overwhelming and crushing almost. So I'm trying to figure out, what do I need to do? What's the game plan? Because I feel like there's no strategy right now. I feel like it's just fear, and that's not a way to live. I need to know what I need to do to take care of my child. So I'm just trying to literally make an appointment so we can get some answers. And waiting 2 months for those answers feels very scary because what am I just supposed to bubble wrap him until that day? So thankfully I ended up getting an appointment for Teddy at Lurie's much sooner than the appointment I had originally scheduled. So I feel a lot better just knowing we will hopefully get some answers. This whole thing has really taken me by surprise because, like I said, my daughter didn't have anything like this. And no one in our family has a peanut allergy. I actually don't even know anyone who has a peanut allergy. Personally, I have allergies to antibiotics and I have to be very cautious with medicines or going to doctors. But it's not something that's mixed into food. You know, it's not like I need to go to restaurants and be like, oh, don't add penicillin to my food. Oh my God. Also, another crazy experience I have to throw in there. During my research of peanut allergies, because that's what I do now, just sit and research and Google and go down deep, dark rabbit holes. It said that kids who have peanut allergies are also more likely to be allergic to obviously the other big food allergens, but also bee stings. So it was 2 days after Teddy's allergic reaction and I was back at my mom's house with the kids and my mom took Teddy outside for literally 2 minutes. My mom comes running back in the house with Teddy and she's like, Carly, a bee was on Teddy. And I'm running to the front door and I'm like, what? And she's like, a bee landed on Ted. So I went to smack it away and it stung me. So I took Ted from her and I was like, thanks for taking one for the team, Mom. I really don't want to end up back in the ER 2 days later. When I picked Teddy up, I felt something like a pinch on my hand and I went like this. The bee, or I don't know if it was the same bee, but a bee was in Ted's clothes, bit me, and then fell off of him. So my mom got stung, I got bit, and thankfully in all of this, Teddy remained fine. They were just in his clothes, and I'm like, what is happening? It feels like my kid can't even be outside for 2 seconds without having some like life or death situation happen. It's very stressful. So yeah, that's what has been going on over here. If you have any experience with peanut allergies, I would love to hear more about your experience. If you guys enjoyed this style of video, a lot more casual and informal and just us chatting, please give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see more updates in real time, make sure to follow me over on Instagram because I'm updating there because it's just, you know, quicker to do than a full sit down video. Otherwise, I will keep you guys updated on our journey with the peanut allergy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.